Mountain West men's basketball is enjoying an elite season. As of February 6th, the Mountain West has 5 teams with a top 40 net rating, tied for the second most of any conference in America. Further, Mountain West teams own the second best winning percentage of any conference against AP top 25 teams at the time of the matchup. Sounds like a 6-bid league to me. Hi everybody, I'm Jesse Kurtz here in the Mountain West Network studio, and with great basketball comes great individual efforts. And in less than a month, the Mountain West will announce its Players and Coach of the Year awards in Las Vegas. But we're very impatient here at the Mountain West Network, so we decided to bring in national college basketball analyst Jeff Goodman to give us his mid-season awards in the Mountain West and who might have the inside track to those postseason accolades. Jeff, it's wonderful having you on here on the Mountain West Network again. Thanks for joining us.
No, listen, the more I can talk about the Mountain West, the happier I am, because this has been as good a league as advertised this year. And it's kind of sustained itself from the non-conference now to league play, where it's just like a war every single night with these 6 teams. And I can't wait. I'm coming out in about a week and change here to go to the Spectrum and the Pit in back-to-back nights and see, in my opinion, the top 4 teams in the league when San Diego State plays at Utah State, and then Colorado State the next night plays at New Mexico. And man, I've been literally circled this trip for weeks.
Well, I can guarantee you'll love the Spectrum and the Pit. They are elite venues, no question about that. The Mountain West has been playing some elite basketball, and with that comes elite individual efforts, multiple All-America honorees, many players on national watch lists for awards at the end of the year, but there can be only one Jeff Goodman midseason Player of the Year in the Mountain West. At this point, who is your Player of the Year?
I'm going Isaiah Stevens. I am, and it's not easy. I mean, literally, you could find like 4 or 5 guys that could all, and there aren't other leagues where you can say that, Jesse. Like, to me, again, it's Isaiah Stevens in a slight nod over Jaden Leday. Great Osborne. Like, these guys have been awesome. Nevada's got a couple dudes. Obviously, Boise's got a couple really good players, but I just think Isaiah Stevens, man, that point guard that does everything for Colorado State. Obviously, he makes everybody around him better. He's an elite leader. He's taken this team back to kind of where they were a couple of years ago in a bounce-back year. So I'm going with Stevens, who to me also lays claim as maybe the best point guard in America.
Yeah, and when you consider this, in Tuesday's win against Boise State, Stevens had at least 15 points and 10 assists for the 4th time this season. No other player in Division I basketball has more than 2. So he's in a class by himself in that respect. So hard to argue right there. As they say, defense wins championship regardless of what sport you're playing. And to have a lockdown defender on the perimeter or a rim protector is such a great luxury in college basketball. Who has done that better than any defender in the Mountain West so far and is worthy of your Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year here at the midpoint?
So for me, this was a two-horse race. I gave it to Jalen House over Lamont Butler. They're both elite perimeter defenders. Obviously, House leads the league in steals, but I generally don't go by that. Like, to me, steals can be problematic if you just kind of fall onto that, and that's kind of what you live by. But I think House is just an elite perimeter defender because, again, not only can he create things in transition for his team and get easy buckets, but I think he's a guy who can be a lockdown defender as well. If you just say, like, you know what, we're going to put him on our opposing team's best offensive player on the perimeter, he can lock him down. And again, it's not always, sometimes leading the league in steals means you're taking chances. I think House is just, he does everything well in the perimeter defensively.
Yeah, House, who is the NCAA active career leader in steals, one of 15 players now who has been named to the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year watch list, a big spark plug for the Lobos. Well, it takes a special type of competitor to enter a college locker room at, say, 18 or 19 years old, a locker room that's full of veteran players, and make an impact. Which first-year player in the Mountain West has impressed you the most in that respect and is your midseason freshman of the year in the league?
Yeah, JT Toppin. I mean, he's been awesome. Defensively, he stepped up when, honestly, Richard Pitino needed him the most, right? And he developed quickly. and he gives him a shot blocking presence, a guy who can get up on the glass, who can get up and go. You don't have to run a ton for him. He's just been perfect for what Richard Pitino needed, because you knew he had great guards, right? Like, we knew that. And then he brought in Nelly Jr. Joseph. So this was kind of the missing piece to making the Lobos an NCAA tournament team and a top 25 team.
8 double-doubles this season. That breaks the UNM freshman record held by the great Kenny Thomas. Further, he's the first Mountain West freshman with 250 points, 150 rebounds, 30 blocks, and 20 steals over the first 20 games. Nobody ever has done that. JT Toppin has done that here this year. All right, the buzzword in college athletics has been transfer here in recent years. It's the quickest way to improve a roster and make a run to the NCAA tournament. Who is the top newcomer in this league for 23-24?
I mean, this is easy, right? Great Osborne has been fantastic, especially with what he did last year. You look at the jump he made coming over. Obviously, he knew the system with Danny Sprinkle coming over to Utah State from Montana State, but he has taken such a big jump. I don't think anybody expected this other than Great, who is great. I mean, he's second in the league in scoring, leads the league in rebounding. He just does everything for this team. And again, there's a reason why this is the biggest surprise team maybe in the entire country. He's been about a biggest surprise player as there is in the country.
To your point, Great has not only leveled up his competition, but he's doing it in a new role. Last year, he was the top reserve in the Big Sky Conference, now a starter in Logan, and he's in the conversation for many Player of the Year awards, including being a top 10 candidate for the 2024 Karl Malone Award. Finally, as mentioned, this league is as good as it's maybe ever has been, with 6 teams in the conversation for an NCAA tournament bid. Some we expected to be in this position, some a pleasant surprise, and that's all due to great coaching, which can be defined in many different ways. But in your mind, and I got a feeling where you're going to go with this, who is the midseason Coach of the Year in the Mountain West?
Listen, you could give it to Richard Pitino at New Mexico, easy. Right? You could give it to Nico Medved for what he's done at Colorado State, easy. But I think there's one guy who separated himself, the guy who took over a team and had no returning points on his roster at that school, right? Utah State, we all thought they would be a major rebuilding job this year for Danny Sprinkle. What he did at Montana State was insane. What he's done at Utah State, even more insane to be able to do it right away. I think Sprinkle, honestly, along with Lamont Paris of South Carolina, 1A and 1B for my National Coach of the Year as of today.
What he inherited and what he has done so far, 19-3, best start ever for a first-year Aggie head coach. If he takes him to the NCAA tournament, he'll be the 3rd different coach in 4 years to take that program to the NCAA tournament. He's done a fantastic job in just putting that program right back on the track that it was. So hard to argue Danny Sprinkle, not only a candidate for Mountain West Coach of the Year, but National Coach of the Year. Jeff, always appreciate your insight. No one does it better than you. Thank you for your wonderful coverage of the Mountain West, and we can't wait to have you at 2 of our venues here in the not too distant future.
Thanks for having me, Jesse. Appreciate it, and can't wait to be there.
All right, that's national basketball analyst Jeff Goodman. By the way, you can follow his excellent work on Twitter at Goodman Hoops. You can also listen to his insight on college basketball in the Mountain West, the very insightful and entertaining Field of 68 podcast that's available on YouTube and other multimedia platforms. From the Mountain West Network studio, I'm Jesse Kurtz.